Today we will be completing Lesson 7 in Booklet 8. That is the lesson on adding, subtracting, and reducing fractions. In this lesson, we're just combining some concepts together from previously in the unit. Right, we have a couple examples where we are adding or subtracting fractions, but remember that from here on out, when you get a final answer, you need to see if you can simplify. Okay? So let's take a look at example 1. We have 4 over 5 minus 1 over 3. Now, before we subtract these two fractions, we need to find a common denominator. And we're going to first try and take the shortcut where we see if 3 skip counts into 5. So we count up by 3s, 3, 6, 9, right? We passed right over 5, but we didn't count into it. So we can't use that strategy where we skip count. Another way to tell that you can't use this strategy is if I divide 5 by 3, I don't get a whole number. I get a decimal. And that tells me that that shortcut doesn't work. So that's okay. Instead, we just need to find a common denominator the long way. So that means that I need to multiply That means that I need to multiply the first fraction by the second denominator. And that means that I need to multiply the second fraction by the first denominator, right? So that is going to equal 4 times 3 is 12, over 5 times 3 is 15, minus 1 times 5 is 5, over 3 times 5 is 15. Good. So now that they have a common denominator, we're going to subtract 12 and 5. Right? 12 minus 5 gives us 7, so this is 7 over 15. Now, like I said earlier, whenever you get to the final answer, you need to check if you can simplify. So give me a second while I pull up the factor sheet here. Okay, here's our factor sheet, and our two numbers are 7 and 15. So here's 15, here's 7. The largest number that they have in common is just 1, right? So remember from the previous lesson that if the greatest common factor is 1, then that means that it is already simplified. So we're good. Final answer, 7 over 15. All right, let's try another example. This is 1 over 4 plus 3 over 6. Again, we start with the shortcut, see if we can skip count. So we count by 4s, 4, 8, 12. Right, that's not going to work. We passed right over 6. So we are going to instead do this the long way. We're going to multiply the first fraction by 6. And we're going to multiply the second fraction by 4. Okay? So what that means is we are going to get 1 times 6 is 6, over 4 times 6 is 24. Okay? And then that is plus 3 times 4, which is 12, over 6 times 4, which is 24. Now that they have a common denominator, we can add the numerators. So 6 plus 12 is equal to 18. This is 18 over 24. Remember that the denominator stays the same. When you get to your final answer, see if you can simplify. So Our two numbers are 18 and 24. Let's find them on our chart. Here is 18. Here is 24. So let's find the largest number that they have in common. Now there's a lot of numbers here, so take your time. They obviously both have 1. They both have 2. They both have 3. They both have 6. And I think that's all that they have in common. Now, it's great that they have all that in common, but we only want the largest one, which is the 6. Right, so that means that we subtract both the top and the bottom numbers by 6 because the GCF is 6. And that is going to give us 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So final answer, fully simplified, is 3 divided by 4. All right, try these next two problems on your own, and then make sure that your answers match mine. Now, this first question is actually quite straightforward because you already have a common denominator, and that common denominator is 4. So we can jump to the step where we subtract the numerators. 6 minus 4 is equal to 2, giving us a fraction of 2 over 4. So let's visit our factor chart. 2 and 4 are up here at the top. Whoops. 2 and 4 are up here at the top. And the largest number that they have in common is 2. So the GCF is equal to 2. We divide the top by 2. We divide the bottom number by 2. And we get 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Final answer, 1 over 2. In this last example, we need to find a common denominator. The first thing that we try and do is skip count. So we take the smaller denominator, which is 2, and we count up by 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8. So in this question, we can skip count, right? It takes us 4 counts to get to 8 by 2's. Remember that another way you could have done this is divide 8 by 2, and that gives you an answer of 4. Either way, you need to know that you can multiply the second fraction by 4 and leave the first fraction the same. So this is going to give us 2 over 8 plus 4, because 1 times 4 is 4, over 8, because 2 times 4 is 8. Great, they have a common denominator. 2 plus 4 is 6, so this gives us 6 over 8. We take a visit over to the factor chart. We find 6. We find 8. And the largest number that they have in common is 2. So that's great. We have our GCF, which is 2. So I divide the top number by 2 and the bottom number by 2. Remember, if you struggle with division, you can use the factor chart to help you. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, and 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. You just take the other number in that pair that has your GCF. So 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4, and my final answer is 3 over 4. So make sure that you take some time and practice with this. You have the final lesson worksheet, which is lesson 7 worksheet. And then after that, you're done this unit and you're ready for the review and the test. Thank you.